All right, what's going on, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the Bordello. I'm Sam Adamo, joined by Dilo. What's up, sir? How are you, kiddo?
We chilling.
We were just looking at the names of the England U17 Euro goalkeepers, and we were bad tripping in the at 11 in the. What time is it now?
1.
We were bad tripping midday. Midday, we were looking at names that were a little much. We got Spike Brits. We have Douglas Lukjancic. And we have Oliver Whatmuff. So the future looks bright for the Three Lions. I cannot wait for Roy Keane to go, the thing about Spike Brits, right? You just can't take him seriously, can you? He's got that awful name. You got to wonder, who are his parents? Are they right in the head yet? I don't know. I don't know if that's even is that how Roy Keane sounds? Somewhat. I liked you. Well, before we started the pod, I had a good laugh. We were kind of, I don't know, we were looking at the names. I was saying, fuck, these are a little bit much. And there was a moment of silence, and then you kind of just let it sit for a second. You nodded. You went, I like Spike Brits.
Sick name.
I'm going to start calling you Spike.
No, I don't.
We're going to say
fit.
We're going to say that your first name is Spike. It's Spike Dilo.
No,
Spike Dilo.
That doesn't work.
Spike Dilo sounds like a rapper name.
Nah, it doesn't work.
You don't think it could work?
No.
Spike Dilo?
I don't sound
It's like Spike.
I don't sound like a Spike.
It's like an Italian Spike Lee. Spike Dilo. Spike D. Not Spike Lee. You're Spike D. You're not into Spike D?
I'm not fucking with it.
Well, let's trust your judgment because you made a great decision not to come to Insieme on the weekend. Let me tell you. Whatever you have in your brain, just listen to that voice. You were bang on. By the way, I knew you were right. Last week when you were saying that you suspected that it was going to be a lot of old people there, you were right. It was a nice event. It was well put on. Very old. Like the only women that were there were just older mothers. And so I was right though, by the way, when I said maybe you could dance with like your mom's friend. Your father was there. Your father texted you. He did a very dad thing. He sent a picture of a prominent local Quebec businessman and said, look, it's Jean Couture, which is a very dad move. Like I was telling you before, like I've been at a hockey game with my girlfriend's dad before, and he'll just point out people in the crowd and be like, that's Guy Carbonneau right there. Or my dad and I were at a game a few weeks ago at a Habs game, and I was telling you before off pod, like François Legault, the Quebec Prime Minister, was like a row ahead of us. And my dad, I had to tell him, like, don't take a picture. He wanted to take a picture to send to his boys. But
I understand Legault. Like, if you saw Justin Trudeau, let's say.
I wouldn't take a picture of him in public.
Joe Biden, like the
I don't think I would want to take
the leader
a picture
of whatever.
Joe Biden.
No, not. Let's say it's Donald Trump. You take a picture of Donald Trump.
Maybe Trump dog, dude. Bro, I was furniture shopping the other day with my girlfriend because we were moving in a few weeks, and I was driving Paula crazy because the whole time we were shopping, I was just quoting Trump. I was just speaking like Trump. I was like, I moved on her quite heavily actually. I took her furniture shopping. I moved on her like a bitch. Do you remember the bus tape? Also known as the grab him by the pee tape.
Pussy, yeah.
You want to look it up? It's one of the better. I hadn't heard it for a little while, but I showed it to Paula. It's an electric tape. I hadn't heard it in years, and I suspect that most listeners haven't listened to that tape in a long time. And by the way, while you pull this up, so we do have a lot of stuff we want to get to this week. As promised, we're going to have a very heavy Calcio segment. We're going to have a little bit of fun this week. We're going to kind of crank up the gears on the football stuff in the weeks to come because the Euro's upon us, or it's coming up, and that's going to be massive. We're going to talk only about Calcio for like a month and a half. So I'm really pumped for that. But, sorry, let's just get that paused. Okay, great. So, and you don't have to overlay this, by the way. I mean, people have all seen the fucking video, but just play the audio in the background in a sec here. But yeah, so before we get into this, just to say, we're going to be going very deep into Calcio for the next like month and a half. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing what arguably we do best, which is talk about Italian football. And we do have a lot of cool stuff on the docket this week. We just have a couple of like kind of pieces of admin that we're going to have to get out of the way first. A few things that we need to address off the top. But first, Let's hear Trump uncensored.
Her actually, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it. I did try. She was married.
Oh, fuck that. No, fuck that. I need the uncensored one. Hang on. I need the uncensored one. Look up Trump bus tape. Trump bus tape uncensored. I cannot do the bleep, dude. The bleep is the best part is the fact that he the best part is the fact you could hear Trump swearing. Because, by the way, you know that he's doing this in all of his briefings, right? Like with his staff, you know that he's saying, referring to a leader of another country, he'll say, this motherfucker. You know that he's saying that. He's a business guy. He's a dude born in the 40s. Of course he swears like a motherfucker. Somehow he barely ever does. One of the best tapes of Trump ever is when he said, he dropped an F-bomb at a speech. I think he said motherfucker in a speech. But you have to use it sparingly in his role. Because if you're at a speech, say you're at a rally, you're at a Trump rally, and he says, this motherfucker's tough. You're getting fired up.
Especially at the Trump rallies.
Well, that's the point. Because you get fired up at the best of times. But when he's dropping F-bombs, that's a big deal. That you got to keep that in your arsenal. So you don't hear him say it much. So it is satisfying to hear him say it.
It's like why Chief Keef can't perform in Chicago. Because, shit'll go down. If Trump starts cussing at the Trump rallies.
People get too rowdy. Yeah. No, it's a good point.
I did try and fuck her. She was married. No, Nancy. No, this was, and I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping. She wanted to get some furniture. I said, I'll show you where they have some nice furniture. I took out furniture. I moved on her like a bitch. But I couldn't get there. And she was married. And all of a sudden, I see her. She's now got the big phony tits and everything. She's totally changed her look. I got to use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them.
By the way, this endears people to him so much. Because the biggest problem, I think, with mainstream media now is they have to pretend that people don't like things that they like. So like in 2016, when this came out, weeks before the election, the mainstream media had to paint it as this thing that, was unpresidential, which I guess traditionally it is. And there are a lot of prudes who found it to be a little gross. But deep down, I think a lot of guys found it funny. And I think even a lot of women just with senses of humor go, yeah, he's got a point. Because the point he was making at one point was, when you're a star, women are just, they whore for you, basically. But again, this endears him to people. When he says, I did try to fuck her, she was married, what do you want? I moved on her like a bitch. I couldn't get there. That's electric. So I was just saying that the whole day on Saturday. We were just looking at beds, and I was driving her nuts. She's like, what do you think of this bed? I was like, I couldn't get there. You got the big phony tits. Yeah. But anyway, so look, I think you did good not to come to the event. I think it was a good move on your part because you would have run into your father. You imagine if you didn't want to be there anyway and I forced you to come and you ran into your dad?
Would have been awkward because, I didn't know he was going. I would have been there. Yeah. So what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, no. But also, the people that go to events like that, respectfully, the guys who put him on are good business guys. And, like Sal Valentinetti's a cool guy. He's a good singer, and he's good at what he does. He knows his crowd. But a lot of the people are very burnt that go to events like that. It's like Italian comedy shows. It's really fucking burnt. I had a thought. If they asked me to go up and do a set right now, what the fuck could I possibly do? It's an awful... The audio is not great also in that place because it's in a fucking wedding hall. And the only thing that the speakers there are really equipped for is an MC. It's like an MC who yells sweet nothing. He yells, give it up for the bride, Stefano and Tanya! And people just lose their minds. It's okay for that, but it's not made for the voice of a tenor. It's made to play Don Omar, or fucking Stromae. That's what those speakers are good for. They just blast bass for people to dance to. It's not an equipped system to do a comedy set or a spoken word or project your voice well. But anyway, so you did good to not come to that because you would have you would have been a little. Listen, you would have had to hang out with the Italians smoking outside from Toronto who just. Because here's the thing about a lot of the pod alum from Toronto is they just roll with Well, the fun thing about them, what I like about them is they have like these random paisans from Siderno, this random town in Calabria where like the Bruzzese boys are from and where a few of their other friends are from. Like there are people currently migrating from Siderno to Toronto. Like every year you have young kids entering the Toronto school system from that. It's like the only town that people are still immigrating from. And they all just kind of cling together. So they move in packs. It's fun. It did feel like it felt like a baptism in the south of Italy. Stepping outside. There was one lady who just yacked. This like old lady, dude, was yakking sangria, sitting outside in the smoking area, and just yacked and went back to her conversation.
That's crazy.
3 times. So it was great because I was there with these Italian guys who were like me, you would never see that in Italy. So here's the plan this week. First of all, this is going to be coming out probably like Wednesday-ish. As I understand, you're saying that you got a scoop here that Spalletti's going to be releasing the provisional squad like on Thursday this week.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
So, I mean, we're not going to be able to react to it because this is coming out before that, but I mean, we can maybe preview a few guys who we think might get in. So it'll probably be like a 30-man provisional squad, which will get cut down to like 26. So it'll almost be the team, right? For all intents and purposes. And I guess, we'll react to it, after the fact. But just now, if you had to if we had to preview this, who are some surprising names that you think might get included? I'm curious. Let's kind of like go back and forth here.
Surprising?
Yeah. Well, I don't think there'd be any real big shocks, but guys who might be a little on the fence. Like I think Calafiori needs to get the call up,
After
and not
what
just,
I saw yesterday.
Not just because of the fact he scored 2 goals. He scored none this
I
year.
didn't really watch him, or I haven't really paid too much attention to him. I just heard his name a lot.
Yeah,
but
he's had a great year. He's versatile, so I like him. But yeah, I would say like Gianluca Mancini's got to get in. I think he'll get into a 30-man team because anytime someone's injured, he tends to be the next name on the team sheet. That's kind of in defense. I think the goalkeepers are going to be Donnarumma, Vicario, and probably Carnesecchi.
I want to see Cambiaso.
Well, let's work from the back forward. So goalkeepers, real quick, it's Donnarumma, Vicario, and probably Carnesecchi or Meret, but only right. Yeah, I think Carnesecchi's probably the better goalie. Whatever, fine. Probably the 4 of them get called up in case of injury. Then it gets interesting. So I like Cambiaso a lot, but I think he will get called up. I don't think there's much shock there. I don't think that Federico Gatti will.
No.
Nor should he.
No.
But I like him, though.
I like him.
I'm a Juve fan, though. I'm biased. I like him. He's a hardworking guy. I like that he looks like he should have a lunch pail with him at all times.
Yeah.
The story of him like being a roofer, not sleeping a lot, going to fucking training late at night, waking up at 5. It's great, but there are probably better guys out there now currently. The center backs are going to be
Acerbi,
Bastoni.
Darmian.
Right. He'll technically be considered one, but he'll play out wide as well, which is why he'll be there because he's versatile. Scalvini. And then I think Buongiorno gets called up to whatever this provisional squad is, and then I think Calafiori and Mancini do also. And I think that's it. Excuse me. Otherwise, then I think you probably have Di Lorenzo that gets called up, even though he
hasn't been
a week or season, but he's established. He's been there before, so he'll get in.
The other guy on the right has to be Cambiaso, right?
Yeah, I would say so. No real controversy here for me. And then I think
Di Marco
definitely on the left. And then it's a wild card. I mean, it won't be Biraghi. He's not good enough, I don't think, unfortunately. He's taking a step back. Chris Italia will tell you that Emerson Palmieri is like the best, he's the best Italian player in England right now. I could safely say I don't think he will get called up.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He won't. No, I think Udoge does.
He's injured.
How bad? Bad?
I don't think he's playing.
Since when? I've missed that.
2 or 3 weeks ago, he got injured with Tottenham. Surgery on his left quadricep, April 21st. Yeah, he's not playing.
Why? Are you a fucking doctor? You know what that means.
Got surgery.
So?
I remember seeing he's not going to be good until next season. Turner will...
he will rejoin the squad during the preseason, which means he'll be ready by July. What does it say here?
He just got surgery last month. I doubt it.
It's been a month. I don't know. Who the hell knows? Where does it say what the problem is? They're not saying they're not giving the prognosis here because when he returns will be at the end of the season. It'll be during off season, so they're not really interested in saying he'll be out for this many weeks. Basically, for all intents and purposes, as far as they're concerned, he's done for the season. Well, he was. On Sunday morning, the statement was released. Plans belong to the man. It doesn't fucking say. It doesn't say how long he'll be out for. Let's assume he's injured. Do we have anything from Football Italia? Like, could you just look up Destiny Udoge Italy maybe or Azzurri and see if that comes up with any result? That might be. Yeah, okay. Okay, there you go. New York Times. Italy's Destiny Udoge to miss Euro 2024 through injury. That's the New York Times. You heard it here first. Okay, I think he would have got in. Too bad. He's out. So now it gets interesting. Who's the left back then? Maybe Palmieri could get called up. Darmian's versatile, but he's not going to be like a dependable left back that you would hope to have in that position. He's not modern enough, right? Spinazzola even fucking playing much. I think he's kind of playing
on and off,
but he's not been a bona fide, dependable starter. I don't think this year for Roma. So then, who else do we have? What other options are there? It's not going to be Biraghi. It cannot be. There's no way.
I think it's really Biraghi or.
I prefer Parisi to Biraghi, and they play on the same team.
Guess we'll have to see on Thursday.
We'll see. So that's one that'll be fun to kind of, I guess, react to. I no one else really comes to mind. Am I drawing a blank here? Am I just stupid?
Look it up.
Well, you do that. I mean, that's probably it for that's probably it in defense. The thing in midfield is we're fucked because Fagioli's good enough to play, but he won't because he's been out all year. He was just back in the Juve squad the other day.
Why am I?
So he will not be there. Tonali's the best midfielder that we have. He's still banned. He will be till like August. So that ain't happening. And then Verratti, who's maybe the second best midfielder we have, is in Qatar. By the way, like I'm hearing people say that maybe Marco Verratti should get called up. And I like him. Stop saying this, okay? Let the man. It's not only is it not happening. Let him be. He don't want to get called up. If Marco Verratti got called up, it would be news to Marco Verratti. He would see his phone blow up and say, "What? No. I'm on vacation. I'm smoking. I don't want to play. I'm done. I thought I made clear that I'm retired for now. You know what I'm saying? He might go to Italy at some point in 2 years, and at 35 say, you know what? Because I'm good enough. Because he is one of those guys that'll just still dictate the tempo of games. He could probably still do very well.
I just don't think he will.
I don't think he will. I don't know that he will either. But if it were to happen,
getting paid.
He does. But if he were to come back to Italy for fun and say, "Fuck it, let's give it a go," then I'll play for a small club and just dominate them, and maybe, just maybe, for fun, go to a World Cup. You don't think that in 2 years he might say, "Fuck it, I'll go play in Italy this year. Let's give it a shot." Like
maybe
there's a chance. I think he's retired for now because he wants to be. He wants to recuse himself. But I don't know that he's okay to probably never play again. But I don't know that he never will again. But right now he don't want to play. So then we have. I mean, I'm going off the head. The top of my head here. I'm going off the dome. But we got Barella and Fratesi are getting in. Jorginho's going to get into the squad. Then who cares? I mean, Lorenzo Pellegrini deserves to get in.
Maybe
really good midfielder,
but I don't think so.
Sorry?
Locatelli, but I don't think so.
What do you mean you don't think so?
I don't think he's gonna get called up.
He definitely will.
You think?
We have no one else. I think he's kind of mid.
He didn't get called up last time.
Thought he did. Was he hurt?
He just didn't get called up.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure he did.
When were the friendlies?
It was 2 months ago in March. He definitely got called up. I think he'll be there for sure. He's not going to not get called up. Are you nuts? I mean, Folorunso's not going to get called up. The guy from last time who got fucking, the first call who never made an appearance. But I think Locatelli has to get called up.
Oh, yeah, he was there. Never mind.
Yeah.
I'm tripping.
So then you get to Bonaventura, who's the guy who got called up last time, who had a decent season, but he looked like shit in the last friendlies. And I don't really know that. I don't even know that he makes the, makes the side. But then again, who else is there, right? He's a guy I wouldn't really expect to see. But in terms of wild cards, I don't hate Gianluca Gaetano. I like him as a player. There's no way he's getting called up. Mancini's only going to call up guys he's kind of taking a look at. So sorry, Jesus, Spalletti's going to take. that's actually part of the issue is that Spalletti hasn't had a ton of time to take a look at a lot of guys. He was going to go with guys who he kind of knows. So, you know, Miretti was getting called up under Mancini a year ago. He's kind of playing, you know.
He's playing with the U20.
Yeah. He's playing for Juve on and off. I don't think he's going to wind up getting called up. I don't even know if he really deserves it. He's not that, you know, he's not really at that point right now. In attack is where it gets interesting for me, man.
Scamacca starting?
Probably. I think Retegui might still start. He's not scoring a lot now, but for some reason he just always scores with us. And you know,
Scamacca's on fire.
I know. I think they're definitely going to have to be the two guys who get called up as number 9s. I think Scamacca, man, deserves a lot of credit because he really forced his way back in. If he doesn't get called up, I mean, we're
Oh, no, he's getting called up.
No, but we have to riot if he doesn't get called up. Like, it's at that point. Like, he's that good. You got to love him. So, if he doesn't get called up, I think we riot. We agree. I don't know what possible reason there could be for him not getting called up. I literally don't know. Maybe his father's back up to his old tricks and fucking levying threats and shit. I don't know. But the fact that he didn't get called up in March is the only reason why you might even say, will he, won't he? But like it feels like a slam dunk. Like the center forwards are going to be Raspadori, Retegui, and Scamacca. And that feels good. Like that feels correct. That feels like smart. That feels versatile. Chiesa's going to get called up for sure. He'll play out wide. And I think Orsolini's definitely going to get called up. Berardi won't.
He's injured.
How bad?
He's till next season.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm out of it. Well, they just got relegated, you know, Sassuolo for the first time in a year.
He hasn't played since here in March.
Well, that's why he wasn't called up for the last round of fixtures, I think. Because he was in the team, I think, in the fall.
Achilles tendon, yeah. So he tore his Achilles in March. That's 8 to 10 months, I think. So, yeah, he's not there.
Okay. It's a bad injury. Yeah, that's like almost a year out. I didn't know it was that bad. I thought he was, to be honest, I haven't been paying any fucking attention to Sassuolo. Like none. I just wrote them off a while ago. I guess it makes sense that, you know, that they had as, you know, poor a season as they did, right? You know, the only guy who scores goals for them or creates anything for them is him. So, okay, so Lorenzo Luca's he's not getting a look in. Maybe fuck it, you know, not worth it. I don't suspect he'll even get called up. But here's the thing, right? If you know, say Retegui gets hurt, then you have one number 9. Mm-hmm. So you kind of need a second one. So maybe then it's Luca. It's not Pinamonti. It's not going to be Immobile.
We didn't even see him in the friendlies.
Did he make an appearance?
Like the last minute. I think
so I think he made his debut, but yeah, I'm not sure. Now, otherwise, I think Zaniolo and Zaccagni probably.
Zaniolo's injured. He's not playing.
Is there any other injuries you want to fill me in on? Yeah, who else is injured?
Zaniolo, right, just this week he got injured.
How bad?
He said he's not playing in the Euros.
He said it.
Or reports came out that he's not.
Can we confirm?
I don't know. It's confirmed.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay, you're more on the ball than I am here. Thank God this is why you're here.
Ruled out a Euro.
Again, damn dude. What does he have?
Something not too big, but he's out for like a month or two.
A ruptured what? He has
suffered a microfracture in his foot.
A microfracture in his foot. A microfracture. I feel like you could play through that. The recovery time for that particular injury is at least a month. Time of waiting, we're currently 30 days from the first game. I don't believe it. I don't believe it at all. I actually think he gets put in the fucking preliminary squad, and then I think we see how he's holding up. That's what I think.
We'll see.
Who offers more than him? I'm going to call up Politano. You want the guys to be healthy and available, but here's the thing. If you're planning on going on a run, you'd want him coming off the bench in around a 16 or quarterfinal game. Because he'll be ready to play June 30th, he's healthy. You could have him, if you're planning to win the tournament, because you're Italy, you want to think, okay, let's win every fucking tournament game, right? Sorry, let's win every tournament we go to. It's not realistic.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, you want to win every tournament that you go to. So you got to hope for a run, and you could manage with one guy. It's a 26-man roster. You could add him to the roster. He's good enough that he'll probably start. He could start any given game if he's healthy. He's not a slam dunk to, but he could. So I think you maybe still call him up. That's
the one player I think that could offer more than him, who's just not getting a look in anymore under Spalletti, is Gnonto. I loved him.
I like him a lot too. I was thinking about this the other day because I was watching the Leeds. Who the fuck were they playing? Christ, Norwich. They were playing.
They're getting promoted or no?
They made it through to the final at Wembley. So I was watching the promotion semi-final last week between Norwich and Leeds, and he looked great. Yeah. But again, he's playing in the championship, so typically the way it works is he's also young enough that we could afford to not take him, where a manager can have.
But he was under Mancini.
Under Mancini, when he was younger, he was getting called up and doing very well.
Even playing in Switzerland.
He got called up, I think, initially when he was playing in Switzerland, yes. Then he made the move to Leeds and was playing in the Premier League and kept getting called up, even though he wasn't playing a ton, but he was doing all right. And, we understand that if you're playing in the Premier League, it's high level enough that even if you're not you're not a bona fide starter, there's a little bit more. I don't know. We add more value to that for some reason. We put more value on playing in the Premier League than in other leagues. So yeah, he still got called up, and justifiably so. He did very well. I don't disagree with you, but I think because he's 20. I think he's 20, maybe 21 this year. He's a very young guy. So Spalletti could afford to not take him. Like no one's gonna throw hands. No one's gonna kick up a storm if he doesn't get called up for whatever reason. So he just won't. Because calling him up is like an optical risk. If he doesn't do well, people might say, you're calling up a guy from the second division. So, I don't know that he will even get a look in. But I think, I think? I think September he's called up immediately. That's my read. No matter how well we do at the Euro, we could bomb out of the group. We could win it again, repeat. I still think Gnonto, Leeds, 1 month.
I think he's going to leave Leeds because last year he wanted to leave when they got relegated. And there was like problems.
What were the problems?
Like they didn't want to sell him.
But they're back in the Premier League now, or they might. Well, they might be. Sorry,
if they go up.
If they go up, which I think they might. I mean, they definitely might. It's a 50-50 chance. I think they will. That's my read. I don't fucking know. I'm an idiot, but I think if they go up, then he stays. That's my thinking. If not, yeah, he might be gone. But if they go back up, right? Okay, so this is all under the caveat that they go back up. I think within a month of him playing the Premier League season, first month in August, I think he's back in September, and justifiably so. Really, really good player. So, I mean, what other names? I wrote down like a nerd. I wrote down actually like just for fun to kill time the other day. I was procrastinating, and I kind of I riffed off. I don't know. I ran through a few names here. I like Vincenzo Grifo. I like him a lot.
He's playing in Germany?
Freiburg, yeah. One of the better players in Germany, like at his position. I don't think he'll get a look in. I think he should. That's my hot take. I like Vincenzo Grifo. Sue me, I think he's never gotten a look in because he plays in Germany. I think if that guy was playing for Sampdoria, he would be 1,000% in the team. So I'm not even predicting that he'll be there. I'm just saying if he's not, that's a mistake. But also including him, it feels like it's at a great cost. I don't know. You include him at the cost of what? Fucking an Orsolini, right? I don't know. If Zaniolo's injured, maybe you could include him because he could drop back a little bit, right? Grifo's very versatile. He could play kind of a little bit higher in the midfield, but a little bit deeper than a regular forward. So I like him. Let's see. We'll react to it live in real time. I guess, that's kind of what I think. So now having said that, we'll see what it actually looks like, and we'll see if it's kind of in line with what we've said. Where's your head at? What do you think? Like, just are you agreeing with me generally, or anything I'm saying that's totally...
I don't think there's going to be too many surprises. I think we named most of the players. I can't think of anyone who would just... Like last Euro, who was it?
Raspadori was the big surprise.
Raspadori was
that was
surprise.
a good decision.
Pessina, no? Pessina was a bit of a surprise.
You know what? I like him. I wouldn't hate it if he got called back up to the preliminary squad.
Did Keane get called up last?
He didn't. He doesn't deserve to this time out, and he won't. But Brian Cristante might make the 30-man roster as well. He's steady Eddie. I don't know, man. I don't know with him. He just doesn't excite me, but he doesn't excite anyone. It's not really the way he plays. He does his role well. So I don't know. Max Allegri's gone at Juve. What do you think about that, by the way?
About time.
Yeah, but you know what? It finished perfectly.
Yeah.
That was the most electric way he could have gone out. I'm sorry. That is the most fucking badass mic drop moment in football in the last 5 years in Italy, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe in the last 10 years. Because he's won it all before. He doesn't give a shit. First off, he's a successful guy. He's not some lower tier crazy guy, right? You know, he's not some caricature of like an Italian coach in the lower divisions throwing a tantrum. No, he's made 2 Champions League finals and he's won multiple titles.
He left like a villain.
And he's back a second time. It didn't go great, but he's still in a cup final. He's winning. He's about to win a trophy, and he's mad. If he's losing and he does that, it's a catastrophe. It mars his whole reputation. He's not getting another good job. I'm telling you. Now he could get hired by any Premier League team. I'm telling you. Went out winning a trophy, ripping the tie off. You see that picture of the tie in the air? That still shot of him walking out with his shirt. He's threatening to rip his shirt off. He apparently put hands on a journalist. It's the most Italian football shit ever. Caring about journalists in Italy is so Italian. It's so typical. They don't care about journalists in England to that extent.
Where do you think he goes?
They're all trash, but they're all trash journalists in England. In Italy, they read stuff. They go, you're the one that said that my tactics are off. You know? I don't know. Where do I think he goes? Everton.
Yeah?
Something like that.
I think
Yeah.
PSG.
Huh. No, I think England. I think that'd be
You
good.
think England?
Maybe. It could be PSG. I think it'd be great if he went to England because then we
think-
would get Mad Max interviews in English. And they love that. They love treating Italian managers. They do this with a lot of foreign managers, but I think they enjoy this with Italian managers in particular. Is that they enjoy when they can't speak English. Like they liked when Conte would say, the cake is good.
Who was the other one?
Taste the cake. Paolo Di Canio. Carlo Ancelotti. I think the players are they're fantastic players. Like
Or Chelsea. I want to see that. That'd be. I think that would fit.
Pochettino's not leaving. I don't think. I think
don't
he's
think?
Doing, he's doing it right now. Yeah, I don't know. That's,
yeah.
that's what my Chelsea friend told me. I believe him. Whatever.
I hate Pochettino though.
Why?
I think he's a. What has he achieved?
He does nothing to me.
Exactly.
No, but he does nothing to me. He doesn't
I
conjure
just-
any reaction.
He's been at all these top clubs.
Yeah.
And he's done nothing.
Yeah.
PSG got them nowhere. Chelsea.
Well, most people have gone PSG nowhere.
Yeah.
Sure. Well,
don't
that's not true. Most people have won stuff with PSG. If you don't win the Champions League
Yeah.
at PSG, it's seen as a failure, which I don't know. I don't know why. It's not like they have a winning culture, you
I
know,
don't know, I just don't like him as a coach.
in Europe. Yeah. Well, you know, what happens is sometimes if you attain
Wait, did he win the? No, he didn't win the Champions League with.
Tottenham?
Tottenham.
No, he made the final. So that's the thing. So he had a really good run with them, right? And
That's all he did, right?
well, that's still a good
Yeah.
accomplishment, right?
Yeah.
And he had great players in hindsight. You know, he had fucking Harry Kane, Heung-min Song, but I think that generally, right, what happens is if it becomes accepted that this guy he's attained like an enlightened state of he's a top coach, we all accept
No
it. We
matter
all
what.
roll with it.
No matter what they do.
But yeah, but it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy because players respect him. I think players like playing for him. That seems to be a thing that sets him apart. A lot of coaches, we don't realize this, but a lot of coaches are pieces of shit. Like they don't interact well with players, and it's important that you have like human relationships with him. I think Dele Alli's talked about that, like how he really felt that Pochettino cared about him, and he's probably a good man manager, you know, which makes sense. He was a good player, so he he knows how to get through to guys. I don't know. I don't think he goes to Chelsea, but I think that he could go in. He could wind up in
You think England?
an English club. I do think so. You were saying that there was another Italian guy whose name was evading you that might have coached there. You thinking of
No, not coach. I was like an interview.
Oh.
Like a.
Di Canio? You thinking of Paolo Di Canio?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Something is whatever.
He's they like the intense Italian the intense Italian coaches who kind of philosophize things because again, they're not used to that much in England. I think that's why they like Pep, because Pep philosophizes everything but in a way that's kind of like it's coherent but it's very vague, and I think that people enjoy that because it's like, wow, this guy's deep, man. The Italians confuse people where they go, okay, let me show you. It's the Italian managers in English press conferences are like trying to teach people stuff. They're like, I will teach you. They're like, look, you want this, when this player goes here, he goes, I don't know. I feel like in Italy, they kind of just talk about it and it is understood. I feel like in England, they feel like they almost have to dumb shit down for them. And what's funny is they speak in a really dumbed down, level of language because they don't speak English well, and that would be fun. I would like that. I would like that very much. So last week we had this idea of a segment that we were going to do. We promised this. We said that what we were going to do was we were going to run through all of the teams in our ideal Serie A, which we laid out last week. Okay, so if Serie A could be as cool as possible, this is what, the composition of teams would look like. This would be the cocktail of teams currently from the top two flights. So we didn't go deep and fucking pick out a random Serie D team in a big city. We didn't say like Taranto because we said, look, we didn't say Catania, which we could have. I mean, Catania is a large city. It's one of the biggest cities in Italy. It's one of the top 10 biggest cities in Italy. But they're in Serie C now, so they may be coming up. I don't even know how well they're doing right now, but it's not really the point. The point is, we said Serie A, Serie B, what cocktail of clubs creates the coolest balance of league? And unfortunately, that's not how it works because it's, based on meritocracy, and sometimes stupid clubs that no one cares about come up, and that sucks. But this was inspired by the fact that Como got promoted last week, and we were kind of talking about that and said, this is cool. It's really good for the brand of the league. This is awesome. It's a segment of Italian of the Italian world that it is representative of. And we were talking about come in the ass, right? Perverse, rich lover, off the boat, barefoot, pastel shirt, bend over, come in the ass. Right? That's a guy that exists in Italy, right? He's rich. He plays tennis. He lives in Como. So what we aimed to do last week was we tried to put together like a cocktail that was, I guess, most diverse and representative of the whole of Italy.
Yeah.
Right? So here's the thing. We said what we would do is we would create the ideal team, like the ideal 11 for each one. We ran the numbers. That would be about 200 to 300 players. So we're not going to do that. Instead, what we're going to do is you and I are going to go back and forth here, and we've prepped a few names, and we're going to go one off here. You state your case, I state my case. We're going to run through all the teams in the league, and we're going to name who we think would be like the best face of the club. Okay? So again, it's a little bit of a change of pace from what we normally do where I'm speaking extemporaneously off the cuff. We have a few prepared ideas here, and I guess we'll just debate them. So to run through the list here again, just to recap, in our ideal world, take it away.
You want me to read it?
Yeah, read them off.
We got Juve, Inter, Milan, Napoli, Roma, Lazio, Fiorentina, Atalanta, Bologna, Parma, Genoa, Sampdoria, Como, Venezia, Palermo, Bari, Südtirol, Cagliari, Cosenza, and Catanzaro.
We took a little bit of creative liberty on the last two. Cosenza and Catanzaro, a lot of people may not agree with us. Because my family's Cosenza, yours is Catanzaro. As we're recording this, we're up against the clock. The Catanzaro second leg decisive
First leg.
tie. Wait, what?
First leg.
This is second
First leg.
The first leg was 2-2 the other day, no?
No.
That was to go through?
That was to go through. They were down 2-1. They scored in the 96th minute to tie it up 2-2.
Okay.
And went on and won it 4-2 in extra time.
I thought you guys won it. Hang on, no, wait.
That was a one leg between 5th and 8th.
Okay.
Now we play Cremonese.
Was that a one-off?
It was.
Or was that a two-legged affair?
One. It was just one.
It was
game.
a one-off.
That's why it was crazy.
Oh, that was the play-in. That was the play-in. Okay.
Play-in, play-off, yeah.
The play-in for the playoff. Right, I understand. Okay, hang on. We're speaking a little bit all over the place here. So what I'm referring to is, Catanzaro the other day played...
Brescia.
It was Brescia? Okay, right. No, Bari's playing Ternana. I was going to say Ternana. Okay, I'm all over the map.
That's for relegation.
Yes, it is. Catanzaro's in the promotion playoff currently. And you guys equalized
in the 96th minute.
Right.
6 minutes of added time. 96th minute, they get a corner. Off the corner, Donnarumma heads it in.
Yeah, this is Alfredo Donnarumma.
Yeah,
the poor one. Not the rich one.
Go into extra time. And they scored A nice goal, Brignola scored, and then in the 120th minute they scored again.
Hang on here. So, okay.
Today's the first leg, Cremonese at home.
Dude, I'm so fucking burnt. Because I thought...
You thought that was a two-legged
You know
game.
what? No, wait. You know what happened?
On Google, it shows 2-2. It doesn't show 4-2. You thought it ended 2-2.
I thought it ended 2-2, yeah. But maybe I looked it up while extra time was happening. I think what happened was... Okay, I know what happened. So Catanzaro was playing a fucking... Anyway, okay, no, this doesn't really matter. The point is, Catanzaro's in a position where they might get promoted to Serie A. You guys had a really exciting game the other day against Brescia. I thought you guys just equalized late on in what was the first leg of a two-legged affair. Turns out you equalized to stay alive.
Yeah.
And then went on to win in extra time. So when I checked the score, I saw that it was 2-2. Because I guess as I was checking, the goal had just been scored and it was going into extra time. I didn't realize that extra time was happening. So good for you. So when I texted you and said, yeah, I saw what happened. By the way, I thought...
I was at my nonna's because I had just finished working.
Holy shit.
I didn't want to go home because I would have missed the whole first half.
But I texted you during the game.
No, after.
Was it after
Yeah.
the final result?
Yeah.
So it didn't update. Okay. It didn't
Anyways.
update. I wasn't watching it live. I just checked it. Okay, anyway. So you guys are in a position where you might get
Yeah.
promoted to Serie A. It's a big deal for you. So my family's Cosenza. We stayed up in Serie B and we're fucking thrilled to be there. To be clear, we barely even deserve to be in, we could totally go down to Serie A cheap. We have a nice, infrastructure, kind of. I mean, it's shit like most infrastructure, but it's standard. It's on par with the rest of the garbage infrastructure in Italian football. So, which is, part of the charm. It's one of the factors of this list is, you need to have you need to be competent at putting games together. You need to have a garbage stadium that is a fun experience to go to, So, but I guess the reason why we put, those two at the end, at the expense of, Torino and Udinese and, Monza. I mean, Monza can get fucked, but because, they've been in the league for 2 years now. But at the expense of, Torino and Udinese, some people might say that's a little bit crazy and, South-centric, right? We do have a lot of South in the league. I mean, we have Palermo, we have Bari, we have Cosenza, we have Catanzaro, we have Napoli, we have Cagliari. But I do think that it's good for the league to have two, Calabrese teams in it because how many fucking teams are there in Lombardia? At any given time, oftentimes it's like fucking 5 in a year, There have been times when I think Inter, Milan, Atalanta, Brescia, that's 4 right there, That was at one point a couple years ago. Then, Brescia go down and then, Monza come up. Como as well are also in Lombardia. The population of Lombardia and Calabria is very similar, I think, okay? Economic development couldn't be more polar opposite, but Calabria has been totally abandoned as a region.
10 million and...
What's the population of Calabria? What is it, like 6 million?
Oh.
Never mind. I was having cigarettes at Insieme the other day, talking with other Calabrese guys, and we were saying, ma quanto fa Calabria? 4 milioni. No, è più. It's fucking 5, 6. Okay, well, my bad. Sorry.
2 million.
2 clubs for a 2 million region is that's a little bold. I'm not gonna lie to you, but we're doing it anyway because there's a lot of Calabrese abroad, a lot of Calabrians abroad. I think it's okay to have 2 teams. By the way, we could totally have Regina in here, but we don't because Regina's in Serie B, so Serie G, I think at the moment. So, do they even exist anymore? By the way, are they bankrupt? I think they're very much bankrupt. So we tried the Crotone experiment and it didn't work. Crotone is also a smaller province, I think, in Calabria. I think the big ones are Cosenza and I think Catanzaro, Cosenza, and Reggio are like a little bit more prominent. Crotone is kind of a smaller province. So I think this is a fair list. That's my defense of the decisions here. Again, but this is in our world. These are just our creative decisions. So, having gone through the list now, okay, those are the 20 teams that we would have in Serie A in an ideal world. Just if we wanted to have what we think is the coolest, sexiest league. Who is your face of Juventus?
Dybala. Kind of boring, but I went Dybala.
So you would have him back.
Yeah. Baby face, Juventus.
Yeah.
Youth.
I went with Kenan Yildiz.
Okay.
Probably for the same reason.
Same idea.
I just didn't think creatively. I thought, guy we have now. By the way, this isn't an ideal world who you would have as the face of the club. It's we're going off of current players who are active at the moment, mostly. However,
My next one is not an active player.
okay, well, great, no problem. Okay, well, generally, as a rule of thumb, we're going to try to go with active players here because it's very easy to say Bari, Cassano. Like it's very easy to just say guy from that city. The goal is not necessarily to do that. To be clear,
Face of the team.
you could be the face of the team if you are from that city, and in some cases, it is appropriate. It is totally appropriate. But and maybe in the case of a few of these clubs, I might rattle off a couple names. It is going to be a little Italian-centric for that, first reason. That there is sometimes going to be a little bit of a bias of me saying, yeah, I would like for it to be a guy from that city. But in some cases, that's not it's not more appropriate to have a guy from the city. It could be a foreigner. It could be anything. It could be a guy from another club who you would argue should be he's at Club X, but he should be at Club Y. Okay, but so we agree. Juve, sexy club. Raffinat. You need like a global, very marketable star. So I said Yildiz. I think you can make the argument for Chiesa as well, because you need a little bit of like an Italian identity at Juve, but I'm going Yildiz. So that's my take. Next club.
Inter.
Okay.
Wanda Icardi.
Okay. As the rep for the club? I think Mauro Icardi, let's just say Mauro Icardi for a sec here. He might be a good ambassador or a good face of the club. But he also was, I think, appropriate for the time period that he was there, right? When the whole club was chaotic. And why Wanda? State your case.
It's disgusting.
Good boy. It's my Juventino producer right there. I would say Gianluca Mancini. I think Gianluca Mancini at Inter works because he embodies the spirit of Marco Materazzi. Now, again, I know that Marco Materazzi may not necessarily embody the spirit of Inter, which, again, Juve fan here. Disgusting, right? Piece of shit. Plays for the national team, you love him. Plays for another team, you say, garbage. No morals, Inter, no morals, stealing titles in the courts. You could kind of go off in that way where you think that maybe Mancini would be a really good shit disturber today, kind of in the spirit of Materazzi. However, Inter are, meant to be brothers of the world, and for that reason, I think that, for me, I think an ideal face of the club might actually be Wilfried Gnonto. I think he's really good for that brand. He's a black guy. He's got African parents, but he's Italian, so it's not. I think he's from Milan. And here's the thing: he was an Inter youth product. Mm-hmm. They fucked up really bad getting rid of him. That was a massive mistake. But that's how it goes, right? If you have a really talented youth player and you believe in yourself and you back yourself, you go elsewhere and you do well. Then all of a sudden the rules of regular football apply, where you're a talented 17, 18-year-old player and people say, we got to elevate this guy. In Italy, for some reason, we say, I don't know, I don't trust him. So Inter fucked up, but I think he'd be a great face of the club, You could have a guy from another country as well, like Gnonto's from Italy, but he's kind of a good medium because his family's from not Italy, right? So I think he's on brand. I like him. Milan.
I didn't write anyone down, but
off the top of your head.
Maldini, the son.
The son? But he's not
another one.
But he's not great as a player.
Just the face.
Well, he's still owned by them, right?
I don't know.
Well, anyway, it's
not
a bad call.
I didn't think of anything.
I thought this is a little bit of a wild one, and this won't happen now. I think Balotelli. At Milan was like, that was where he was supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. San Siro, big city, big club, big time player, stud. There are a lot of other names you could name for Milan. For me, I said Balotelli. I don't even think that's, I don't think that's really that controversial. Yeah, I don't know. He has played at Inter before, but I like the fact that he went to Milan and said, I like the club more. And the dynamic between him and like Galliani and Berlusconi was cool at the time. For me, I think Balotelli. I don't think anyone's going to come at you for saying Maldini. Let's try to keep this moving along here, but okay, fine. I do think that's both of those are a little bit of a long shot. Napoli, who do you have?
Insigne.
Still? Okay. He was a good face of the club in some way. I do think that... So, here's who I have. I'm going with Matteo Retegui. Would be a great face of Napoli. because he's an Argentinian guy who's Italian. He's playing for Italy, but he's embodying the spirit of Argentina. I think he would score a lot of goals with them. I know he had an okay first season in Serie A, but I don't know. I just think he's a guy who they would like. I think they would like the idea of having an Argentinian player. You could almost argue that Giovanni Simeone, if he were a better player, could be a good face of that club. He has it in him.
Maradona.
He's not a bad player as well. He's just got, Osimhen ahead of him. But I think that, they would be on brand. But I think, Napoli's one of the clubs that I'm adding other guys to. Just I'm adding a little bit of sauce here. I think Donnarumma would be great. Mm-hmm. I think having a local guy at Napoli is important. Kind of why you probably picked Insigne. I think Gianluca Gaetano, who I mentioned on the pod before, who was a Napoli youth product and was loaned out for years. I don't know if he's still owned by them. He might be owned by Monza now. I'm not sure. Is he? Does Monza own his rights currently? Or is he on loan there from Napoli? He's 24, which in Italian football terms is, he's a kindergartner, right? In the minds of Napoli's directorship, if that's even a word. Just look up Gianluca Gaetano. Just look him up. It'll say on Wikipedia if he's on loan or not. So again, I think he's
on loan.
He's on loan. Okay, so he's still owned by them. Great. I think he's probably never going to be the face of the club, but he would be a good face of the club. Creative from there. So him, Donnarumma, but also a guy like Retegui. You need like a guy to kind of add to the lore a little bit. That's kind of my take there. And again, I don't want to only go with local guys, but sometimes it just feels kind of appropriate. Who do you have for Roma?
Baschirotto.
Why Baschirotto? That's an interesting one.
Roman Empire strength,
That's a really good fucking pick. Because he's massive, right? Yeah. He looks like he's a gladiator. He has the physique of one, the longer hair. Is he still at Lecce?
I think so.
Okay. I'm into it. I like it a lot.
Who you got?
I don't hate it. I like the idea of having an Italian defender as well. Maybe he wouldn't be the best guy on their team, but he, if he could somehow break in and stay in, you build a better team around him and you hope he's reliable. I have Lorenzo Pellegrini. That's not controversial, but I think he's perfect for the club because I think Roma needs an icon. I think they need a local guy at all times because they're not just, now listen, again, I know it's lowbrow to say from the city, pick him. But the thing with Roma is they're like the biggest city in Italy. They're one of the more important cities in Europe. And there's this weird thing that goes on with Roma in particular that does not exist at Lazio, where they kind of try to embody the Romanita. We're Roman Empire, all of it. It's in the name, right? Lazio has a provincial name. Roma has a very, central name. It feels like the more local club, at least to those, around the world. And, they've had Totti, they've had De Rossi, they've had, I think Bruno Conti was, I think he was a Roma player for a long time, and I think he might have been from Rome. So I do like the idea of having a strong local guy be their captain. When we get to Lazio, it's a little different. Who do you have for Lazio?
Acerbi.
Okay, because of the racial thing. He was, that's fair. Because here's the thing, right? So Lazio, again, we're joking about Lazio. We're going to talk about the far right shit. Sorry. It's just, I know it's hacked, but we have to. Acerbi's good for them because now the far right in Italy is largely concentrated way up north where he's from. He sounds a little far right, even though he didn't say that thing. Probably fine. We'll give him the benefit of the doubt. He didn't say what he was accused of saying, but if he did, it would have been on brand. I'm going a level deeper. I'm saying Romano Mussolini.
Is that his son?
His great-grandson. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He's a current youth player. I think he might be out on loan, but I think he's still owned by them. In an ideal world, he would get promoted to the first team. It would be good for the brand. It's Romano Floriani Mussolini. For some reason, there you go. For some reason, his crazy mother demanded that the Mussolini name be added on. She's nuts. So he was at Pescara this past year in Serie A. So he's probably not at the level required to play for Lazio. But he is playing currently. He's 21. And I think in an ideal world, he would be good enough to be the face of the club because it would be an interesting, story. Because again, we got to make the league. You want to make the league like a telenovela almost, Alternatively, again, because I know that's a less realistic one, I have Gianluca Scamacca, who's Roman and looks aggressive. The tattoos.
I like that.
I thought of putting him at Roma. I think he's more Lazio.
Yeah.
I don't know where he lies politically. It's not really the point. He feels like
Just
a
the
guy.
face.
Yeah, he's got a face for Lazio.
Yeah.
He's got a face for Lazio. It'd be good for the club. The point is to elevate all these clubs here. You know, the point is for all these clubs to be fucking crazy competitive.
Like when you think of this team, you think of this player.
Exactly. So, Fiorentina. Who do you have?
Berna.
Bernardeschi.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I have Chiesa.
Okay.
I think Chiesa is fit for Juve, but I think and again, they hate him now, but I think he's a really appropriate player for Fiorentina. And had he never left, it would have been cool. Again, we want guys that are kind of, you know, I get that it's a little crazy to say, you know, Scamacca at Lazio now when he's better off at Atalanta currently, and I get that it's a bit crazy.
Skills aside, just face.
Yeah, exactly. Now here's the thing. I also think that Giovanni Di Lorenzo would be great at Fiorentina.
Why?
Tuscan player, Tuscan guy, Tuscan sounding name. He sounds like a poet. Giovanni Di Lorenzo. He sounds like a steak loving, wine drinking poet.
Okay.
So I like it. I hear his name. It reminds me of Giovanni Boccaccio. Giovanni Di Lorenzo. It just sounds very Tuscan. So he would be a bit older now. So he'd be just a seasoned international player. I like him there. I like that very much. Now, at Atalanta,
I don't got anyone.
I don't have anyone either. So what the fuck do we do here now? Because we took Atalanta's best player, Scamacca, and we gave him to fucking Lazio. So now we got to think off the cuff here.
Just Gasparini.
Gasper.
He's just a face.
No, so here's who I'll say. I'll say just some Dutch guy, some Dutch fuck.
Daron.
Maybe, but it doesn't have to be him. It could just be any European fucking... Like, who's the guy that plays... Who's that kid at Man United? That Danish kid?
Danish.
Højlund?
Oh, Højlund. Rasmus Højlund.
Rasmus Højlund, I think, could be the face of Atalanta.
Okay.
I like the idea.
Yeah.
In fact, was he not there a year ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They signed him from
right.
Atalanta. Yeah.
So I think that's why I pulled him out of my brains, because I knew deep down he was there. So if had Rasmus Højlund stayed there,
he would have been.
He would have been. Yeah.
I see that.
He's like this Northern European guy who becomes cultured Italian. I like that. Bologna. Who do you got?
No one.
I've also got no one. I have no one for Bologna. They made it into the league by the skin of their ass last week. So, what do we even do? Do we pull like a Canadian-Italian guy? Do we say
Saputo's
fucking
son or something?
Mauro Biello's son? Yeah, who just signed for CF Montreal. Fuck. By the way, did you watch the CF Montreal game the other day against Toronto? We lost 5-1. I had to watch Federico Bernardeschi with blonde cornrows score a hat-trick against my team. Friend of the pod, Mango, said, that's it. You got to just blow the club up after that. There's no shaking that. That's like when Jamal Hill got knocked out by Alex Pereira and he woke up and Pereira's like doing the Kaby Lame thing. There are just certain humiliating things that are hard to live down. We need someone for Bologna. Can we circle back for this one? I mean, I feel like Orsolini is a good guy for that brand.
It's a boring pick, but
he's Central Italian, but I don't know.
All right.
Who the fuck else are we gonna pick?
No.
No, but legit, who else do we pick? Who else is there?
Someone write in the comment. Someone put a comment.
Someone comment. Yeah, I don't know. No one's gonna be.
No one's gonna comment.
No one's gonna comment a player who they emphatically think should be at Bologna. No one has a strong opinion about Bologna. Yeah. Period. That's a tough one. Okay, well, what about Parma? Another
no one.
Emilia. No, I don't have one either. So I'm gonna say Marco Verratti. I think Marco Verratti should come back to Italy and play for like an established club like Parma, where he could just chill.
Okay,
that's what I think.
Yeah,
I think that would be fun. I think he would be a great face of that club. Because again, he's not gonna come back to fucking. I don't have anyone for Sampdoria either. I think he could be like. Okay, so
that's why I was looking up. What's his name? Gaddafi.
Oh, right. Al-Sadi Gaddafi. Yeah, Chiama Gaddafi. That's fair. It would be fun. Here's the thing about Sampdoria. I think Sampdoria could be a good club to be bought by a foreign group, okay? Like a foreign group that commits crimes against humanity, okay? That commits war crimes and genocide maybe. And I think Sampdoria could be the club that is sacrificially offered to a foreign regime and just shill for them and I don't know, maybe sign like just a star, Like it could, because currently we don't have that in Italy at all, really. We don't have a club that's foreign owned totally. Kind of Como, who we'll get to in a little bit. But I think maybe, you can make the case that Sampdoria could, because again, who gives a shit about Sampdoria? You know what I'm saying? Other than a few people in general. Like, it's not, no one has that strong an opinion about them, respectfully. Ergo, I think that maybe we could say, foreign country, buy him out, ton of money, and get Vinicius Jr. I don't know, just some fucking stud who just like is the best player on that team, which is built really well, kind of like an Italian Newcastle almost. You know what I mean? Just bought by foreign group, old club, important club, established club in the context of Italy, but needing a little bit of a boost. So yeah, Verratti could go either way, but I'll say like fucking just Vinicius Jr. at like Sampdoria, and you're saying Gaddafi. Fine. But I think Verratti for Parma, just because I think Verratti should come back to Italy at some point. I think it'd be good to throw him at like a provincial-ish club, So I think a more established one like Parma is appropriate. What about Genoa? Do you have any opinion on them? You got to pull one out of the hat here. I'm gonna need you to dig deep a little bit here. How about like Tommaso Baldanzi? Who I like and will not, who I wouldn't hate to see get included in the provisional squad, because that's like the bias of liking young Italian names, but like a Tommaso Baldanzi, like if you're Genoa and you don't have like local Italian guys who are a little bit exciting that get you out of your seat, what's the point? Just a local guy, best player on the team, maybe gets capped by Italy once in a while. You need like one club that's kind of like operating under the same premises of clubs currently. Currently, you have a random club like a Fiorentina that has a Bonaventura in the team, and he's a guy who their fans love, and he's getting called up by Italy once in a while, and he's not great, but he's okay. And I think Genoa are kind of like the old, they're the team that are kind of holding on to that old, that old way of doing things, which we're dispelling of now, right? But that old way of doing things where you're kind of just mediocre and middling and you barely even, you're barely even there. That's what I would say. Who do you have for Como?
Marchisio.
You would bring him back out of retirement?
Just the face. In his prime, he fits with Como.
He has a face for Como.
Yeah.
I don't disagree. Here's who I'm going with. I'm going with Nicolo Zaniolo. Okay? Not because he's a classy looking guy. Quite the opposite. By all accounts, he's trash.
He's the son of
what? He's the son of a footballer.
No. I mean,
his mom.
He fits the description of like a son of a rich person in Como.
So yes, he does. That you're right. I hadn't even thought about that. I was thinking more in terms of the fact that I feel like people that go to Como now, and granted, you have less of this in Como than you will have in like Positano, Amalfi, fucking whatever, maybe Portocervo, in Sardinia, where like a bunch of people go to party. But I do think you have a little bit of the I'm traveling to Como. Look at me. Look at my Instagram. He has a little bit of that look. The tattoos, bit of an asshole look to him. Yeah, but I like it even more for the other je ne sais quoi element to it, which is the fact that he has the look of a son of a rich guy. You're right. He looks like a trust fund kid who's kind of a bit of an asshole. I think he'd be cool for that project, And you would have like classy women kind of fantasize over him, the bad boy looking guy. So I think that would be good. Because again, we want to build a good team here. So he would be, obviously maybe kind of playing. Listen, for a newly promoted Serie A side, that's kind of below his level. But it makes sense. I like it. Who do you have for Venezia?
I don't got anyone. You?
You really don't have anyone for Venezia? Really?
I don't know.
Dig deep into the embers of your brain here.
Ethan Ampadu.
What? Please. That was the worst year of his life. Ethan Ampadu right now is just in Wales or wherever the fuck he is in England, just having night terrors. Right now, live in real time. He just like some people do voodoo where you'll get a doll and you'll stab it and people will be like, ooh, ow. He just felt a visceral pain through his soul because someone suggested that he go back to Venezia. I think like Stefan El Shaarawy,
Okay.
So, because again, Venezia will never be a top club. They can't be. They can't be. They ain't got the infrastructure for it. But I like the idea of having a guy who's kind of past it but established and can play. You know? I think that's totally fair. Stefan El-Shaarawy goes there, starts every game, plays every minute. Good for you, kid. You know? That's what I like. What about Body? Who do you have for Body?
Harry Kane. Because he can't speak English, and the people in Body can't speak Italian.
Right.
He fits.
That's good. That's not bad. You imagine Harry Kane in Body. Just learning Italian the worst way possible.
Yeah.
What about I have one of two guys. I have Elsaid Hisai, the right back, or Christian Anslani. Any Albanian currently playing in Italy can go to Bari and just, I don't know, be close to home and, I don't know, chill with their paisans down in Puglia. So I like that. The Sud Tirol, I have.
We missed Palermo.
Oh, did we skip? Okay, we'll go back to Palermo in a sec. Who do you got for Sud Tirol?
Not a soccer player, just because last week we were talking about redheads in Sud Tirol.
Yeah.
I just said Il Rosso, the fucking Twitch streamer.
You want to pull up a picture? Can you just write down and overlay a picture of him? He's kind of. I mean, it's hard to describe. He's just a fucking ginger. He's just this Irish-looking motherfucker who speaks Italian. He's an Italian guy, and because he's ginger, which is highly uncommon over there, he just goes by Il Rosso. Yeah, okay, fair. just a club where Yannick Sinner and Marvin Vettori go network and just shake hands and have shitty wine, you know, in the press box. I would say just give it to Andrea Pinamonti. Let him go home. He just went down to Serie B. If Sud Tirol get promoted to Serie A, are they currently in contention too, or did they lose at the first? Did they fall at the first hurdle? What's going on there?
Sud Tirol?
Yeah.
I don't think they.
Are they not in contention? Are you sure? Confirm. Serie B playoff. Did Sud Tirol not make the cut?
12th.
Not even close. My bad. Okay, I thought they were. Okay, well, in any event. You know, at this point, you know, for Pinamonti, I mean, it's probably better for him to be at Sassuolo and get, you know, paid a little bit more money and probably be at the realistically better club, you know, with the prospect of going back up. But at this point, if you were to go to Sud Tirol, lateral move, you know, Serie B club to Serie B club, right? In any event, that's not even the point. This isn't a hypothetical world where Sud Tirol's in Serie A. I would say Andrea Pinamonti, clearly good enough, scored like 10, 12 goals this year, will be playing locally. He would be the guy. He'd be the, you know, the focal point of that team. Small stadium, not a real star, but he'd be good for that team. He'd be, you know, be good for morale to have a local guy be there. Who do you have for Palermo?
La Padula.
Interesting.
He looks Sicilian.
Yeah, South American. This is a crazy one. I put Lautaro Martinez.
Okay.
I think they need like a bona fide South American star.
South American striker.
Yeah, man. I want
Cavani, Dybala.
Exactly. It could be Luis Suarez, by the way, but you know, that would be lowbrow. I want a guy who's a star now. I want Lautaro Martinez right now in this league, you know, to be playing at fucking Palermo. I know it's crazy, but in this league, it's competitive, you know? That's sort of the goal here. We want this to be as competitive as a Premier League, where everyone has like a stud, you know, who could be like, you know, a really important player for his national team. Then we get to the last couple here. We have Cagliari, Cosenza, and Catanzaro left. Who do you have for Cagliari?
No one.
No one? All right, well, I picked Moise Kean. I
like that.
Just throw him over
like
there.
that.
Just fuck it. Just who cares? Throw it at the wall. Yeah. He's talented and youngish, but he's all right, but he struggles to score. Just put him in a garbage club. Important club in the grand context of things, you know, in the context of Italian football, in the grand scheme of things. Pretty big club. Like historically, right? They've won titles before. Gigi Riva, who's the highest scoring Italian international of all time, played like I think his whole career at Cagliari. So relatively important club, but you know, on the island of Sardinia, you can get up to some naughty business. I think he'd have a good time. Whatever, throw him over there, right? He's from Italy, you know, he'd have fun. You know, fucking whores who go party there will like to fuck the black guy with the dreads. It kind of works, you know. So you don't have no issues with that? None?
No.
Well, what about Cosenza?
That's yours. You got that.
I want Gennaro Tutino to stay there forever. He's like, I think he was a capocannoniere in Serie B last year, or this past season that just finished. He's a Napoli youth product. He's from the south. He's on loan from Parma. So he will not be returning next year, like almost certainly. I mean, he'll probably be vying for a spot at Parma, and he deserves it, to be honest. But I would like for him to stick around forever. I like him. Southern Italian guy. Fucking fans like him. Here's the thing about him, though. He was with Cosenza years ago, and he came back for a second loan. So I think he was with us for a number of years ago, and he chose to return. So that's, I don't know, he's kind of part of the lore. I'm not crazy enough to, suggest that Cosenza would ever be, they'd be fighting to not be in last place. So it's all right to have a Serie B guy be the face of the league. I mean, fucking Palermo have Lautaro Martinez here. So I get that it's, it's a tough sell. What about Catanzaro? Who do you think should stay there?
Giuseppe Giovinco.
Okay.
I didn't go Seb because he's too pale. Giuseppe he's a bit darker. Fits the description, short.
Where's Giuseppe Giovinco playing currently?
I don't think he plays anymore.
Come on, bro. We got to go with the current guy.
All right, then let's go Seb.
Seb Giovinco.
And bring him back.
He does look very Calabrese. He is, by the way. They're
both from...
Their parents are.
Yeah.
I mean, they're from Turin, but I think they were part of that. I think their parents were part of that group of people that migrated up to Piemonte.
Okay, no, he plays in Serie C.
Yeah, great. Let's throw him. Let's make him the face of a Serie A club. Let's put him on billboards around Catanzaro.
I think he fits. He fits the description.
Here's why he fits the description, right? Is Catanzaro and Cosenza need to be,
Oh, he played for them.
Did he really? Well, great. Bring him back. How did he do? The Ndrangheta ran him out of town, dude. What the fuck happened? Why would he have not stayed there? Did Catanzaro get too big for him? Listen, the clubs there need to be Ndrangheta ridden. They need to be chaotic. They need to not be well run. They need to be desolate, kind of like the region itself. It needs to be tragic. It's got to be filled with short guys. Tutino's a little guy. Seb Giovinco's a little guy. So is his brother, I would assume, right?
Yeah, he played 33 games, 9 goals.
Games, one season. That's not bad. There, all right. There's got to be someone better we could have for fucking Catanzaro. I know I'm making you really rack your brain here, but this isn't an ideal world.
Yamello fits it.
How about
right now?
But here's what I'll actually say. Again, this is lowbrow because again, it's really cheap to say local guy. But I would say Domenico Berardi. He's from Cosenza. For me, I think he should be the face of Cosenza in this case. His club just got relegated to Serie B. We don't have Sassuolo in the league here. Recover from it's actually perfect. Career-killing injury for a lot of people is an Achilles tear. Okay?
Comes
back in Serie A playing for Cosenza. I like it. It's a beautiful world we could have. If only we could be the overlords and we could run a fascist, we could turn the FIGC into a fascist fucking closed system like the NFL, I like that. I think that's a fun segment, I don't know. Share your thoughts, whatever. DM, comment if you agree or disagree with any of the picks, or if there's any that we totally missed, any opportunities that we completely passed up on. Please feel free to clue us in. Any closing thoughts here? What do you think of our list? Is it a little too aspirational, or?
I think looking at it, or looking back at the players we chose, I think it would do well. I think it's good for the international.
I would never miss a weekend. I would follow.
Oh yeah. There's someone entertaining on every team.
I'm bored all the time now when I watch Italian football. Yeah. That's the problem. We need someone for Bologna. Just out of respect for one of the most prominent families in all of Montreal, the Saputo family, owns the team. Might have gotten their start because mobsters might have extorted businesses, but that's neither here nor there. And I'm not breaking news. That was in an article that came out years ago. It scandalized the whole family, but who cares? In some ways, it's also very appropriate for Montreal that you be a very big business on the back of mafia related activity. That feels appropriate. Dilo, anyone that isn't there currently. How about who's on their team now? Xerxes, he's leaving. No, that can't work. Fabian's a good. He's a sexy player, but
Calafiori.
No. He's Roman. He should be. Yeah,
that's true.
Calafiori needs to be playing for a Juventus, a Milan. No. Calafiori because he's got the long hair. He should be playing. He plays like a top player and he looks like a top player. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't deserve to be in a club like Bologna. He deserves to take a step up. I don't know. What about now? Here's a better question. When I say Bologna, what do you think of?
Like I'm not a player specifically isn't coming to mind.
So I think it's got to be an American. I think it's got to be an American on exchange there. Okay, right. There's a big university town. A lot of people who go to Italy to study will just go to Bologna. So who's a very, a very
Pulisic?
worldly looking American guy. Maybe plays for the U.S. men's national team, but kind of feels like he could, I don't know. Feels like he could kind of maybe travel.
Giovanni Reina?
What about Gianluca Busio? Where is he now? Is he currently still at Venezia? He looks like a guy who would actually kind of go partying out in an Italian town that he's on exchange at.
Yeah,
He's still at Venezia, so he may be coming back up to Serie A yet. I would say swap to Bologna. That's also, by the way, if Lautaro Martinez is at fucking Palermo, and respectfully, Gianluca Busio looks like a good kid, but respectfully, if he's the face of Bologna, we got a fucking problem. We got to go bigger than that. I would say, who's that kid that just signed for Philadelphia? Who's that 14-year-old kid?
What's his name?
Cavan Sullivan.
Sullivan.
Cavan Sullivan. He's like maybe the best player his age in the world right now. He's 14. He might play for Philadelphia Union. He looks...
Why does he look like Beckham's son?
He does look like Beckham's son. I like the idea of him being... I don't want to... Listen, he's a 14-year-old kid, okay? And he's a stud. Okay, I'm not going to make fun of a child here. However, I do think he has a bit of a look like he might be a bit of a... He has... I think his parents actually are like soccer royalty in the States, or at least in like Pennsylvania. I think they like coach there and whatever. I think he's got a brother that plays for Philadelphia Union.
He also looks like Landon Donovan a little.
A little bit, but he has a look about him where he looks like USA Soccer. If you look at him, he looks like USA Soccer. Yeah. USA Soccer deserves to go play in Europe. So go play for a Champions League club like Bologna. Currently, you have an Americanized owner like Joey Saputo. Kind of works. And it's a university town, a lot of young people, a lot of people from all around the world that speak English. And here's the thing, he has a look about him. Again, I'm not making fun of a child here, but he does have a look because he looks very old for 14. If he didn't, he wouldn't, he wouldn't be, able to physically play with men. He has a look like a little bit like Zaniolo is like, like he's got a dad that'll sue you or buy you. So I like the idea that maybe dad could afford to send the son to a club abroad. I'm going to say Cavan Sullivan for the fucking club of Bologna. Or Riccardo Orsolini, but that's easy, Mm-hmm. Well, we did it. Good on us. I would say this is
entertaining.
It's
an entertaining league.
This is just, not only is it entertaining, it's appropriate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's got all the right elements. We're hitting the right notes. You know what? I think Napoli, that hits a good note. You know what I'm saying? Yildiz, bona fide star at Juventus, that hits a good note. Zaniolo at Como hits a good note. Who else did you say? At one point? Like Scamacca at Lazio hits a good note. I'm remembering mine here. I'm forgetting yours. What's one that you're proud of here?
Baschirotto
at Roma, that sets a good tone too. Looks like an imperial, like a soldier. Harry Kane at Bari. That's an electric tone. Here's why it'd be perfect, because it would be the next club. It would be the next club after Bayern Munich. By the way, can you imagine going from a club run as well as Bayern Munich to a club, the second club of the fucking De Laurentiis family? But so end of his career, goes to Bari, kind of like a Ribéry at fucking Salernitana situation. I like it. I'm in. I'm sold. So I guess next week we'll break down some of the Azzurri shit again. We're going to go a little heavier into football the next couple of weeks. Hopefully you guys enjoy that. I don't think anyone's complaining when we talk about football. We just gotta want to do it, So this was fun. So if you liked it, just leave a like on the video, rate the pod if you haven't yet. It helps us. I think anyone who's going to do it has done it, and I don't think any more of you will. But if in the off chance that you're tuning in and you have not heard it before, and you're fucking listening to the pod for the first time now and you haven't, please rate it. It helps us. I'm Sam Adamo. Dilo.
I gotta run to go watch Catanzaro.
And he's anonymous, so you don't act. By the way, there were people there at the event saying, "Where's Dilo?" There were people saying, "Where's Dilo?" I said he didn't want to come. He doesn't want to show face in public. Dilo's anonymous. He's off camera at all times, and we might have to start disguising your voice too. We'll disguise your voice to sound like a little more Calabrian. We won't do the thing where we deepen it. We'll raise it a little bit,
right.
you know? Okay, in bocca al lupo, Catanzaro. Ciao.